Hi guys, I thought I'd just make a little follow-up video on the Porsche 911 C4S. It's being a little bit troublesome since I've owned it, but then it's an older car, it's 2004, it's only done 80,000 miles, but yeah, I've had a few issues with it. The current one at the moment started after the car was taken in for MOT. And I believe it sat there for some 45 minutes running. I don't think they particularly liked that, to be honest. There's no air going over the engine, like means of a fan or anything, apart from the car's own fan. So I wasn't particularly happy about that. Anyway, when I was driving home, the car hadn't overheated, it was in the normal range. When I was driving home, the car wouldn't rev above 4,500 revs, which I thought was quite strange. I stopped the car, restarted the car, turned it off and back on again, that old IT trick, and it seemed to be fine. The revs would go up to, normal ranges, what have you, so drove home. Didn't really think too much about it, stupidly, when I put it away. So the next time I got it out, took it for a longer drive. It seemed fine on the way out. On the way back, when it was warm, again, this problem came back. Wouldn't rev above 4,500 revs. So did a bit of research online. Turns out when I plugged my onboard data reader into the car, I had two faults up for the crankshaft positioning sensor. Like I said, did a bit of research online. It's a fairly common fault. These things do go over time, and I think they are sort of sensitive to heat. So looking online, people seem to have had problems when they've been set in traffic where the car just stops and then it won't restart until it's cooled down a bit. So anyway, I looked at the on the online to see how to get to the sensor. It's behind the near side rear wheel, or left hand side, whichever way you look at it. You have to take the rear wheel off, and there's only one Torx bolt, there's one electrical connector, and it pulls out. So simples. Unfortunately, nothing's ever simple, is it? So I've already had a go at this. I've taken the Torx screw out. You need a long extension bar, about that long. What's that? That's about... No, I'm not going there. So yeah, you need a long extension bar and a Torx bit to get the screw out of the crankshaft positioning sensor. The electrical connector is a total ball ache because it's tucked right up underneath the wheel arch. You struggle to get to it with one hand because obviously it's one of these clips that you've got to pinch and pull. But I did get it out. It had rusted into the holder. Again, that's more aggro. It probably took me an hour to get to this point where I've just got the screw out and taken the electrical connector apart. You'll see what I mean if you have to do one. So all that you do now is pull the sensor out, but it's buried deep in the wheel arch. And on pulling at it, it was very apparent that it wasn't going to budge. It was not going to move, no matter what I did. I've had mole grips on it. I've had screwdrivers behind it trying to lever it out. Can't get it out. So move on till today. Yesterday I had a bit of a breakthrough. I basically got the thing moving on its axis. I've got some penetrating oil in behind it and what have you, so I'm hoping today I'll be able to carry on manipulating it, wiggling it, and squirrel, and get it moving. And once I've got it moving, pull it out, and then I can order a new one. Apparently they're common to various other cars, and yeah, I'll fit it and that'll be it. It's never that simple. Anyway, cheers. Cheers, Jonathan. Nice mug.
Of course, there's always an easier way to take off these wheels. And voila. So initially, like I said to you before, I had to lever this every time, like with a spanner on the back of the tang of the file, and it is slowly freeing off. So carry on, wiggle, wiggle.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was bloody nightmare. So a whole 2 days have passed actually since I started to take the sensor out of the car. It didn't take 2 days, but it might as well have done. It took me, I would say, from start to finish to get the sensor out, 8 hours. So unless you're very, very patient or very lucky, don't bother, I guess. But what do? Do you take it to a garage and let them charge you like £80 an hour to have this sensor removed? I really don't know. So in that case, I have no option. I'm furloughed, I'm off work, so right now I've got nothing else to do with my time at the moment. So what I've done is I'm going to tell you my learnings of how I got this sensor out, because it might just save someone's time, life. You've got to be patient. Right, so this is the sensor, okay? What's left of it. This is what's left of the cable, okay? That was in there, blah, blah, blah. And I did want to get it out without breaking it, but no chance, absolutely no chance. It doesn't matter. I've ordered another one, a Bosch replacement part. I was going to get a genuine Porsche part, but then reading on all the forums, these fail. Like the genuine parts fail, so I'm going to try something different. Hopefully it won't fail. So I can't see any reason why that was stuck in the bell housing, okay? When I've taken it out, eventually got it out, this is smooth, the hole is smooth. It's just a mystery, really. It's almost like it's swollen up. Maybe that's what's happened. Maybe where they overheat, they swell up and then they get stuck in the hole. I don't know, like batteries do, or when they overheat, they expand. I really don't know. So, okay, here we go. This is how I removed this then. There's no point in showing you under the car because you won't be able to see anything. So I'm going to explain, right? I'm going to put this down and then I'm going to pick the camera up. So here are the tools that I use. This is what I found worked best. I used loads and loads of different things, but in the end, this is what I needed. I also used a small screwdriver to pry behind this initially to get it out. To begin with, obviously this has got an eyelet missing now because this has got an eyelet missing now because this is broken off the top. This was in tight against the bell housing. It wouldn't move, it wouldn't rotate on its axis. So first of all, loads of penetrating oil, and I could gently start to move it from side to side by going from the outside of the wheel arch into this, using this, okay? So basically like this. Patience. Okay, so that was it. That's all I got to do to move it to start off with, okay? After a while, I could get something in behind this. So a little screwdriver. You've got no space in here at all, which is why I'm not showing you under the car. You've literally got that much room to try and get a screwdriver in behind here, and then I moved it maybe a millimetre away. And then I worked away at it, like side to side, side to side, to side to side, for literally hours, trying to pull it, pry it out, and it wouldn't move, it wouldn't come any further. Getting behind here, trying to pull it and move it and pry it, and it wouldn't move any further. Over time, every time I stopped, I had a cup of tea, I put more lubricating oil on it, and over time it was slowly coming out, okay? So I got to about this point, and that probably took me about, probably took me about 2 hours, okay? Right, this is what I learned. So this is like braided rope, which I use for windsurfing. And what I did is I looped this around the back of there, basically, and around the back of there, and I tied it in a knot. So I tied that around there, underneath there, bearing in mind this is all one-handed and a good, arm's length inside the car. I then brought both loops back through, put it around this windsurfing tensioning handle, okay? And then I've got a bloody good grip on that to pull it then, okay? And I could, obviously this is like a lot further away. I could slowly start to pull tension on this and then work it side by side, wiggle, 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 pull, pull, wiggle, wiggle, more oil, hours and hours and hours and hours. It seriously got to the point where there was that much left in the hole, so probably 5mm left in the hole. I still could not pull this thing out, right? There was nothing obstructing it, like the back of it. And I weigh 12.5 stone, whatever that is in pounds if you're American. And I pulled on this bastard with this rope and this handle as hard as I could, and eventually out it came. Popped out, I went arse over tit, ended up upside down in a hedge. But when I saw it come out, obviously, big cheers. That's it. So that's what I did to get it out. But if you're in this situation, what else do you do? If you've got any other ideas, if you've got another idea of how you'd get this out, someone might say, oh, there's a special tool for that. Porsche got a special tool for that. I bet they haven't. Yeah, if you've got an idea you think would work and it would help other people in the future, then please let me know, because I couldn't find anything on the internet anywhere. So that might all appear to be a bit of a rant, and believe me, it probably was. I'm not having the best start to the year anyway. I've cleaned the hole up in the bell housing. Like I say, there's no snags. There's nothing on here that's snagged. There's nothing really to show. But I've just put a bit of emery cloth in there, just gently clean the hole up. Nothing to see really. Just waiting for the new one to come. Put the new sensor in, and hopefully it will run fine. And that was the problem. Thanks. Hope this helps.